YouTube? It is Damien. It is the Rise of a Nation. It's episode 155. Today is a very sad episode. Today we say goodbye to the best player I've had on paper, not the storyline or whatever, but on paper, the best player I've ever had at any club in my content creation history. NILDO's been a living legend. We will have a look at him in a second. We'll get through, obviously, the end of season stuff. And then this episode is going to be a lot about what we're going to do to replace NILDO. Made 3 signings this year. Sharman just, for 100 odd K. Someone that I think could develop into something decent. Smith came in and done exactly the job I needed him to do. He looks fantastic. But Ravel wins his hands down. The club is upset we paid $18.5 million. I'm not, because this guy has the potential to be as good as Lewis Ibe, our world-class left wing-back who plays inverted on the left. Ravel plays inverted on the left. And I look at him and go, yeah, you sir, are going to be very, very good. The season results, for those that don't know, we did go undefeated. We have our best ever finish, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in the SFP Superliga. We also, in the Friendly Cup, won the Friendly Cup, got knocked out by Barcelona, and in the Sidebait Pockland, we won it again. What's new? But yeah, look, there's nothing else I can really say. Apparently, Ronald, by the way, scored our most goals from the centre of the park, and he is a player I'm interested in selling. If you haven't seen how we got knocked out, you will know that we played a very crazy tie 2-2 in the first day before getting a little bit FM to lose in Spain, which makes you think we have the right system to win the Champions League, but we may have just lost the best players that we kind of have to do it in. Goal of the season was another free kick that Ronald hit from a very... Oh, no, it was not. But yeah, anyway. Match to remember was the PSV 4-0, and the biggest win was a 7-0. We don't score a massive amount of goals, but we do score a lot of goals in the 4-3-3. Finances, we are looking absolutely fantastic. The club reputation is in a very good spot, and yeah, I'm very happy. NILDO had the highest selling jersey. And that is where we're going to go, I think, as well. Our best 11, as you can see here, was Ibe, Carlos, Sheng, Bloom, Abad, Neri, Ronald, NILDO, Carlos Smith, and the baller. I 100% agree with that. I feel like the baller this season has shown that he is definitely good enough to be our number 1 striker, with Nielsen being the number 2. But Nielsen can just come off the bench and do everything. As you can see, fans player of the year was NILDO, young player of the year was NILDO, signing of the year was there. The most assists was NILDO, most player of the matches was NILDO, highest average rating was NILDO. And if you go by competition in the world, Paul Bad won Golden Glove yet again. Well, Goalkeeper of the Year again. Danish Goalkeeper of the Year, as you think. NILDO won Best European-based Player for Brazil, as long as a lot of other media accolades. And that's where we're going to go. We have sold him. It had to be done. He has a year and a bit left on his deal. And instead of me waiting for the transfer window and then praying that he signs a new contract and knowing they were going to lose him on a free, I offered him out for 100 million. No one said no. I then offered him out for 80 million in Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich met the asking price of 80 million. To sell a guy who's got a year and 2 months left on his deal for 80 million is absurd on Football Manager. It barely ever happens, but just look how good NILDO is. 20 flair, 20 dribbling. If you're looking at 19 technique, 19 vision, 19 agility. And then if you're looking for stats above 15, there is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 stats of 15 plus, ladies and gentlemen. 19 stats of 15 plus. If you go into the scouting list, right, and you go to players, and you go by search, and you clear everything here quickly, and you go and pick attributes, and you tick all of these, and you go 15 plus and match it by 19, I'm telling you, you're not going to find many footballers. He is hands down one of the best players I've ever used on FM. Some of the goals he scored were world class, as you would imagine. And if you go by 19, you've got 22 players. Out of those 22 players, not one is interested in coming here. That just shows you what it is. If you're having a look at the 22, you got Alberto at Liverpool, Rizzi, Simon. Look at all these guys: Spurs, City, Chelsea, Barca, Brigone, who we just played against. Like, these are guys that have world-class match ratings. And NILDO joins them. That's how crazy it is. it just is what it is, as well. But yeah, like, he's unreal. Now, if we go back to NILDO, by the way, as well, and if I do bring up my pictures here, if we go to pictures and we go to Fm21 and we go to SFB and players, if we go to NILDO at America, we can compare them. So as you can see, if we do that, make this a little bit bigger, as you can see, if we can see slowly, a little bit of work here by Damien, but we're getting there. As you can see, had what, 10, 13, 11, 12, 20 now from 18, 12 finishing from 10, 19 first touch from 18, 15 free kick taking now from 12. He's also got 12 headering, which was 10. Long shots are up by 1. He has developed so much. I look at him. That stayed the same. Long throw stayed the same. We don't care. Marking's even got up to 13. Passing up to 17 from 14, boys. Right? Technique's up to 19. His tackling's up to 13. But then look at him mentally. Aggression stayed the same. Anticipation went up to 15. Bravery went up 1. His composure went up to 15. His concentration went up by 2. His decision-making went up by 1. His determination stayed the same, but it was always good. His flair went up to 20. His leadership went up to 10. His off the balls went up to 18. Positioning went up by 2. His teamwork went up by 1. His vision's up to 19. His work rate went up by 4, ladies and gentlemen. He went from 14 work rate to 18 work rate. And physically, 17. Went from 17 agility to 19. Balance went to 18. His jumping reach stayed the same because that's what it does. Natural fitness went up. His pace went up to 16. His stamina went up. And his strength went up. Like, he looks unreal. Like, NILDO, to me, on paper, the best player I've ever used on FM there. And you want to know what makes it even more nutty? You look at Brazil. He is Brazil's best player. He is Brazil's best player, which is huge. If you look at their top players by reputation, Gildo, who we used to have at Barcelona, is up there. You see why with Gildo, don't you? Yeah, he's 24 as well with Gildo. That's the scary part. But yeah, look, I'm never going to have a player like that. And then it's the question of what do we do with him? We are currently live on stream. Links down below. Rest of this episode isn't really going to be talking about what we're going to do. Make the most of set pieces. I feel like we do that anyway, to be fair. Play attacking possession, sign high, reputable players. Something that we can do, that's for sure. Work within the play role, all that sort of stuff. Spend the original transfer budget. Geez, they want us to spend. All right. I'll accept the vision. That seems like an interesting little thing. That's changed a lot. It is a new board in charge now. We are going to discuss the plans for next season, get it on the way. We're going to go and win it again. That's sort of the reaction I'm asking for. We're doing the Champions Cup, so we're aiming to reach the final. No. Yeah, sort of the reaction. And we'll talk about promises a little bit later on. This set of boys don't really care about promises. But yeah, look, we need to speak about what is going on in terms of what we're going to do without NILDO. So, first thing we can speak about is I'm also planning on selling Ronald. Ronald's been a great servant, had a really good year. But at 29, I'm not interested in signing a new deal with him in 2042. After that, yeah, he could still be world class and he could be absolutely amazing. But I think if we had an offer of 40, 50 million, the fact we just lost NILDO, and we've got players that we need to speak about here at the football club, I think it's now time that Ronald can leave too. Like, we had our chance of NILDO and Ronald to win me the Champions League. It did not happen. Let's sell both of them at the same time. Rip it off like a banner. It's going to hurt. And it's going to pain me to see Ronald go as well after the year that he's had. Yeah, he wasn't great against Barcelona, but that was the outlier. The rest of the year, this guy's been fantastic for me too. I think it's time just to go, all right, the back four stays the same. Abad is the best goalkeeper in the world. The midfield three, we've lost NILDO. Ronald's out the door, and we don't have a star DM. Neri, however, I will say, in Neri's defence here, is if you look at him as a ball-winning midfielder, he has got the outrageous stats that are the physicals, the positioning, the work rate, the marking, the tackling, and the mentals for it. So yeah, I think Diego Neri stays, by the way, in that role. But if I look at it, right, and by the way, I would actually do this because Nielsen and the baller, they're very similar, but I feel like the baller is ready to lead the line. Nielsen still has a little bit more development before I think he leads the line for us. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, for me, there's people we need to speak about. And I'm just going to put them into the list. to who we speak about as well. And you will know that I have mentioned that Skype, by the way, Skeet, Carsten, the car, hello. Set the nickname. We haven't had the in a while. The car, vroom vroom. Had a really decent loan spell the last couple of times at AAB. For his team not really performing too well in the league, still averages 6.8 and 6.9. We brought him in for the last game of the season, which was amazing because NILDO got man in the match. We played him out wide. But the car was very good, and I think he's one of the players we have to talk about here. This episode's going to be a little bit longer because I want to show you a few guys and what we do. Me and the chat have sort of talked about it today. Unless it's a world-class player, I don't think we're going to change much. As the game eventually loads, so responding to a text. That is way too quick. There we are. Smith. There, do that. There we are. I think that was a Somariva assist. He's the other player we have to talk about, Somariva. But look at where the car picks it up. Picks it up, beats one, shugs it off, plays the ball into NILDO, who is NILDO. But for me, from what I saw of the car, I was like, this is the guy that was playing at AAB. Just dominating. As you can see again, he's got guys around him. Good ball into Nielsen. Finds William Smet, who beats the line. Finds NILDO. Yeah, great goal. Well done, buddy. But yet again, it's come through the car, right? And the car, again, is dribbled. And he's a bigger boy too. He's not bad. He gets the ball back, gets it again. And then the weight of ball, I'm like looking at the car going, if that's what you're going to provide for us, he may not have the best potential, according to this. In saying that, at 20, it technically changes again. And it seems like with scouting this year, at the age of 16, I have no clue, right? Guys that have, let's lose Jacob, for example, right? This sort of potential at a young age are probably going to be world-class, right? More than not. But guys that have 200 PA will actually have 3.5 stars and then 2 widened stars until they turn 20, and then it'll go to that. So the fact that Jacob has that makes me think he doesn't have 200 PA, but he has potential probably in the 190s, right? And he's the second guy we need to speak about. But like the car is the first one. We've loaned him out a couple of years. I've always thought, he's not going to be good enough. He came out of my academy at 3-star, then he went to this, and then he was a loan at AAB, and he got the 4-star and switched back, and then all of a sudden wonder kid, right? I really think there's a footballer in the car. So for everybody in the chat, which I believe is JS, Rods, let me know what you think we do with the car. I actually think that, he may not be, oh my goodness, but I think if this guy played a couple of years in the first team of SFB, he could develop into a 3-star, 4-star player. If he gets the 4-star, he's a star player in the league, and that's pretty much world-class. And if he goes to 3-star, he's a leading/star player in Denmark. And we've seen that guys like Ronald, who are 3-star, are killing it. I think he's really good and worth keeping. The second one we've got to speak about is Somariva. This guy has forever been wanted by Chelsea, Man City. We've rejected bids from Barcelona. He's homegrown because he's been here for a long time. For me, he does a couple things well. I think he's more an advanced playmaker on attack than a Mazzala, and I do think that the car is more an advanced playmaker on attack than a Mazzala. However, in saying that though, if you did look at him as a Mazzala on attack, I do think that there's lots about the car that I like in the Mazzala on attack. I think he has good work rate, great technique, good passing, good long shots, finishing, good composure, good dribbling, good first touch, good anticipation. I actually think the car as a Mazzala on attack with Somariva on advanced playmaker on attack is actually really good. I feel like if we can get the car moving into the channels with 13 off the ball, and he actually came out and got all these sort of 13 stats that are 13 to 15, in the next 2 years, so that's 15 off the ball. That means he would have 15 work rate, 15 off the ball, already 15 decisions, 15 plus flair, already 15 agility, already 15 balance. Well, it would have 15 acceleration, 15 pace, 15 stamina. Let's say the composure one gets to 15. Yep. So that's 9 stats. Dribbling first touch get to 15. All of a sudden, the long shots get to 15. I actually think, never mind. I actually think the car would be the Mazzala on attack. And we are going to get him learning the Mazzala on attack, right, and get his pace up as quickly as possible, right? And I actually think that Somariva has done enough for me to go, I'm an advanced playmaker on attack. He's got good work rate. He can also win the ball back. He's 6'1". He's got great jumping reach. We've seen him score a few headers, and we've seen Ronald score a few headers. Right? He's got good composure, but what I love about him, he's got 17 vision, 17 passing, and a 17 first touch. Something that Ronald does do a lot is play good balls in behind. I actually think Fabio Somariva is very close. We've never really given him a big chance in the first team either. Right? This year, probably a bit more, but look at it. 14 off the bench. 13 off the bench. 9 off the bench here because I think there was an injury. He's never really played minutes everywhere. I think Somariva is that sort of guy that we plays homegrown and can do the job in the advanced play marathon attack. I really do. And if you compare Somariva to Ronald, for instance, because it's the Ronald role that we're looking at him at, Ronald is just that little bit better because he's world class, but I think Somariva could do it. Where the defending stat, I don't mind so much. Aerially, speed, vision loses out, attacking loses out. I get that. But I think if you look at the advanced playmaker on attack role, and you look at the two, they've got the same dribbling. He's got a better first touch. Loses out in one passing because Ronald's so good with the passing, and he loses out in technique because Ronald's absolutely insane. Loses out in anticipation, but he's got better composure. He's got better decisions. He loses out in natural flair, but I don't think that's actually massive. Off the ball, he's a bit better. His teamwork, he lacks, but he's got better vision. I think Fabio Somariva is the sort of guy that I think we should give game time to, and it just makes you appreciate how good Ronald is, but I think it's time to sell him. But then there's a guy we have to speak about, though. And this is the last guy we speak about before I even think about making a change. I think it's Jacob. I don't think Jacob's a Mazzala on attack. I think when you've only got 8 finishing, you're not a Mazzala on attack. You're an advanced playmaker on attack. And this guy is out of this world for 17. He could be one of my best ever regens. The fact he's already got teamwork of 18, vision of 18, work rate of 16, technique of 17, right? He's got natural fitness of 15 and the first touch of 15. Imagine what the stats are going to be when he's 20. He's only 17. You compare him all of a sudden to Ronald, right? And you go by advanced playmaker on attack. They got the same dribbling. He's got one less first touch. Yeah, the passing, for me, with Jacob's the issue, but he's 17. That will get to 15. I believe that will go free overall. To be fair, what I'll do is I'll probably get his dribbling up and his physicals up first, his pace probably into the 14s, 15s, and I'll get his dribbling as quickly as I can with the first touch up to, his first touch will go up a bit and his technique will go up, but he's dribbling to 13, 14 by the end of next year. I'll then probably put him on that passing train and go, mate, just learn, right? But look at the rest. Technique he loses out by 2, but I reckon Jacob by the time he's 20 will have 19 technique, right? Anticipation he loses out, but I reckon by the time Jacob is 20, he'll be close. And look, by the time he's 29, he probably has 16, right? Composure loses out, but I think the composure will get there. He's got the same decision making at 17. He's got better determination. He's got better natural flair than Ronald. He's got better leadership, which is okay. It's nice to have. But then look at here. Ronald is unreal. And Jacob beats him in teamwork. He has the same vision. And he lacks one work rate, which is nothing to give up. Yeah, physically is where he's his issue. Because Ronald's so good at what he does. But I feel like Jacob has just done this to me. I feel like it's time. Right? Poor old Somariva doesn't get a go. The car learns to play Mazzala on attack. And Jacob comes in and we don't sign anybody. And Jacob at 18 is the guy we're going to look to grow and then eventually go, hey, mate, you're going to win me a Champions League. And I think it's there. I really do. Poor old Somariva yet again is going to fill the void of whoever's out. And then that leaves me 100 million at the minute, 184. I expect that to go down in a few days' time to talk about what we do maybe in the ball-winning midfielder role or maybe what we do elsewhere. We've also got other players coming back, by the way. We've got Marcio Luiz, who I think is a really good footballer. We've got Kurt Agud, who I'm going to actually bring in and play at centre-back. And yeah, that's it, right? But there is some footballers here that I really do love. And I think Jacob, as the advanced playmaker on attack, could be out of this world at 17. And the car, the Mazzala on attack, learning it, could be out of this world as a wonder kid too. And I feel like as much as we have the money and as much as we can spend right now, I think Jacob and the car, yeah, we won't be in the Champions League for the next 2-3 years. We will allow them to grow, turn 20 and 23, and all of a sudden you've got Carlos, Rensing, Bloom, and Ibe, who are 29 in their prime. Abad's in his prime at 28, 29. Carlos is going to be 23 and even more world-class than what he already is. Smith's going to be 25, 26. The Baller's going to be in his prime at 28, and Nielsen would have been a developed striker by then at 24 or so. All of a sudden, you've then got a world-class two midfielders that have been homegrown, who've come from my own youth intake in Denmark. And on top of that, you've got a squad that at 29 we've kept together. And by the time they're 29, 30, 31, 32, that was my window with this group of players. And if it hasn't happened by that stage, then I'm probably going to sell, right? But I think that's the way we go about it. And saying that, though, there's a couple of players I do want to talk about here that could definitely do a job, right? First one that could do a job here as well is, we're going to go by probably names, but they're all in here anyway. Should have the names here. Damien? I know I do. Definitely do. So I got my names in my book anyway. I know Jorg Bobson's one, but I want to talk about him a little later. Robin van Eck is someone that could cost me about 80 million. We could spend that right now. Yeah, he's a great advanced forward, but I actually think the Mazzala on attack could replace Nildo. Because he's so good at getting the ball and getting in off ball areas and work rate and finishing with composure, this guy could probably, with the 17 dribbling, be the Mazzala on attack. He could also play up front, but I think we've got forward depth, which is something that we haven't said in a while. I also think that if we look at, I'm now just going to type the names in here, a younger option, a Richard Bellozo, he's 17 at Liverpool, right? And if you compare him, right, to Jacob, I think Jacob's a better footballer. I think Jacob, where Richard is actually very well-rounded and very good. I think Jacob is somebody that is very, very decent. And saying that, though, Richard's only worth 4.1 million. I think it would be stupid of me not to take him. He could also grow into a very good advanced forward. But if I look at him as an advanced playmaker on attack, I look at him and go, you know what, get him in at 18, get him playing off and around the bench, and all of a sudden he's going to be very good. So I'm actually going to make an offer for him in this episode to come in as a bench player at 4.1 million, and that is it, and meet that release fee. He's got a very good scout rating as well at 83, and he's pretty well class. We'll just do that contract quickly here. He wants to be a breakthrough prospect. He's got no clubs more interested in him. I'm actually not going to put in a loan deal. I'm going to put him on a 3-year deal and actually make this about a little bit more just to make sure he comes. And hopefully he comes in. 4.1 million is an absolute steal for a guy like this. I feel like if we loan him out for a couple of years, he could develop into an amazing player, or we use him and he could develop into an amazing player, right? But then there's one more guy, right? And this is where Damien is very tempted to go the other way. Hello, Bobson. Now, Bobson, by the way, could play winger on support on the left-hand side, and we can still play the car, and we can still play Jacob through the middle, right? I really do believe that. I'm getting a few notifications on my phone. Don't know why that's doing that. Sure. There we go. I think that could work. On the other hand, if we go back to Jacob, as an advanced playmaker on attack, you're going, wow, right? Passing of 15, vision of 15, technique of 15, off the ball 17, first touch of 17, dribbling of 16, his acceleration and his agility and he's physically out of this world. But for me, he would be a Mazzala on attack. The only reason why he's a Mazzala on attack, as I know he has 10 finishing, I've already said that it's not good. He's got 15 long shots, but the fact that he's 19, I work him on his shooting. That finishing will get to 12 and 13, and the composure will get to 16, 17, that's going to be enough. They want about 90 odd million for him. I don't blame him, right? The fact that he did not go to the World Cup makes me think he wants to move. I think we can get him. Now, my question to you is this. Do we get him? He's going to be world class. He could be as good as Nildo. Compare him to Nildo, right? Nildo beats him everywhere. Yeah, we're going to know that, right? Nildo even beats him defensively, right? But I think at 19, the guy could develop into Nildo. I really do. If you look at him as a Mazzala on attack, Nildo's dribbling out of this world. Nildo's first touch out of this world. And he's got better finishing. The long shots of Bobson is good. He's got very similar passing. And there's a pretty good technique, and they will grow over time. I think there's still a couple of years of very good, big growth at 19. I actually think by getting him in and playing full strength in my facility, he would be really good. He's also got 1 less composure and anticipation. He will grow into that. 2 less decisions. He will grow into that. Flair, look, the flair is a flair. Right? Nildo is Brazilian. Off the ball, he'll probably hit it. Vision, he probably won't get the 19. The work rate's the same. Physically loses out in acceleration, he'll probably hit that. Probably loses out in balance and probably won't hit that. But he's got better stamina. He's also got better strength. He's also slightly taller. And he does lose a little bit in pace, but we could probably train it to get to 15. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? It's not Nildo. Nildo is the best ever, but Bobson's going to be close. My only issue is if I spend 50, 60, 70 million and he doesn't cut the mustard and I sell him, I'm going to lose a big chunk. Now, we've made plenty of money in the save. We've got a new stadium on the way. Is he the guy we bring in? I really do think he could be. But at the same stage, it's a risk. I want to make him unhappy. I really want to make him unhappy. But I don't know if that is going to happen. Watch this space, because he could come in. Like, if I offered 20 million, they want 123. Right? And I'm just going to offer him 30 here and just go, yeah, right, whatever. Right? But something tells me he's not going to come easy. What would you do, YouTube? You let me know in the comment section below. At the moment, I'm leaning Falling Bird, the car, Somariva the backup, and I still have Marcus Lewis, who can probably come in and play in a role in here as well. Not the worst, but not the greatest. And we've obviously got the 17-year-old that is coming in as well in Richard Bellozo. And I think that's a very good spot to be in. Saying that, there is money to be spent. Do we spend it? I'm actually thinking we don't to replace Nildo or Ronald, but we spend it on a ball-winning midfielder that is out of this world. If we can find one, of course, because we've already looked and it's very hard to do. Anyway, from Damon and everybody else here, that is the end of episode 155. An episode where we're going to end with what is my favourite player on the save. That's a big call. We've had Orbres, who, by the way, I forgot to put in the dream team. That was a mistake, obviously. We've had Yepi. We've had everything. All right? This guy. In terms of best player stat-wise on paper, the best ever regen or player I've had on any save. Nildo, it's been a pleasure. I hope you win the Champions League. And on that note, by the way, Barcelona lost the final to Liverpool for the 2nd time in 3 years. Igilda and Orbres still yet to win the Champions League. But yeah, Nildo. It has been fun, my friend. 80 million. I will miss you. Hopefully, you win one day. Okay, see you next time. Thank you and goodbye. Give it a like for Nildo, you have to, man.